Okay, so it's Friday in the second week of COP15 here in Montreal. We're getting close to the end now. It's supposed to all be finishing on Monday night after the weekend. Of course, there's a danger it might run over, as often these COPs are. So, Kathryn, tell us how things have been going in the formal negotiations.
Yeah, not great for the latter half this week. So we've seen countries walking out of some of the finance negotiations, which, as we mentioned earlier in the week, are the really tricky ones. So
That was Tuesday night and Wednesday morning
yeah,
again, wasn't it?
exactly. Yeah, and again, negotiations running right into the night. About 1 o'clock in the morning, we saw developing countries walking out because some of the developed countries, particularly France and Japan, very oddly, are actually saying they don't want any kind of new nature fund to help developing countries to finance nature's recovery. So I think quite a few different countries are quite surprised by that.
And it's concerning, isn't it? Because the funding, exactly what we've seen in the climate COPs over the years, the funding is really the key. I mean, apart from the fact that we would believe it's absolutely right anyway, there does need to be funding going from the global north to the global south to help do these things. On top of that, it's the key to unlocking the diplomatic progress in the talks. And, without it, we're just going to have constant stalemate.
Absolutely. And we talk about this $100 billion funding gap when we look at the climate change side of things. Here, we're hearing about a $200 billion funding gap. There's a huge amount that needs to be done. And we're hearing pledges and announcements on funding, but really it's peanuts. It's a drop in the ocean on the scale of what we're looking at. So that's rumbling on in the background, and obviously now ministers are starting to arrive.
Yeah, we do now move into this really important ministerial segment, and all COPs are pretty much the same normally. As you have the negotiators working first of all, trying to get agreement, trying to remove these square brackets, which are the code for the bits of text that's not yet agreed around bits of text, and trying to get agreement on them. And they can only go so far as negotiators. It's really what you get to the point. It's the sort of second half of the COP. We're moving into it right now. Ministers have been arriving. Our own ministers, Therese Coffey from the UK has arrived in the last 48 hours, for example. And you need the ministers to get together and do the political deals that are absolutely essential to try and get agreements. And that goes beyond the mandate that's given for the negotiators. So it's getting quite nail-biting now. Are they going to be able to remove those square brackets in time, really?
Yeah, exactly. And as well as that, because everyone's tired, everyone's been working through the night, we are seeing the breakout of some comedy acts at the COP, and that tends to happen as you get towards the end of a COP as well. So the Mexican delegation have apparently been going around offering bottles of tequila to any country who can remove any square brackets from any bit of text.
Shame we don't have the ability to remove square brackets, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think observers are allowed to get
Might warm
to
us up a
tequila.
bit, that'd be quite nice.
Exactly.
But anyway.
It's also getting quite cold here, and we're expecting a snowstorm to hit tomorrow. So hopefully our matching hats will help us in the cold weather tomorrow.
Definitely.
But it's going to be a tense night, and obviously a really important day tomorrow where ministers are starting to thrash out the text themselves.
And working through the weekend, of course.
Of course, yeah. So I'm going to be heading home in the next couple of days, but you'll be bringing the last update, won't you?
I'll be here till Monday night at the Wildlife Trust. We'll keep you informed of progress in the talks at COP15 here in Montreal.